And who play female characters in video games? Real talk. What's the reason?
I don't know about other people, but I've been playing female characters in basically every game I've played for as long as I can remember. And a lot of it has to do with options. Like, that simple. So like, I play Soul Calibur, okay? And then it says, hey, you can make a character. You can make a guy, and you have basically one choice. Big, giant, huge guy. And then you put the armor on him, and it's big, giant, huge guy with armor. And you can make him look cool. You can mess around with him here and there, and it can work. But, like, the options for females are 100% better in most games that I play. And this is just Soul Calibur. This isn't getting into a lot of the other stuff. But, like, in Soul Calibur, I can make a tough lady, I can make a sexy lady, I can make a mage lady. You can do these things with guys, but it's not the same. Like, just going into hair options alone, that's a big deal. There's oftentimes when you play games, there's like, the guys have like 4 different hairstyles, and the girls have like 20. Like, that's not a small difference, that's a huge difference. That gives you a lot of options to be able to make any kind of character that you want to make in any style that you want to make them. They can be tough, they can be petite, they can be sexy, they can be like aggressive, they can be mean, they can be scary. And you can kind of do this with guys, but guys fall into a lot more of the cliche character designs. This is just the way that the games are. In fact, a game more recently, actually, that I played, and not the one, Violet and Scarlet, I have my issues with because of the customization. So I don't care one way or another, in all honesty. But if you go back to Sword and Shield, why did I pick a girl character almost all the time? This is why. Because the options were almost unlimited. Unlimited. Me and my buddy sat around one time, and we were just trying different things, and he made Daria. Like, and she looked exactly like Daria and made a Pokemon team for Daria. But me, okay, if I'm playing the guy, I can basically make hat-wearing kid. Maybe a Hawaiian shirt thing. Like, cool. Like, when I played the game and I got really into the customization, I like to build the character and build a team around it. I made a punk girl who worked very, very well. I tried to make a punk guy, and he just kind of looks like an asshole. Like, this happens time and time and time again in a lot of video games that I play. I often tend to think that the female characters look cooler, like legit cooler. And this is also for other things too, like, and maybe I'm a little different, but like, if you gave me a choice, right? I was playing a DC game, and there were multiple choices. I think the Wonder Woman costumes actually end up looking cooler than most of the costumes that you have for the other superheroes. It's just the way that I am in general. I think there's so many different stylistic choices that women are allowed that men simply don't get or didn't have access to for many, many years. Bit of an older guy, so when I grew up, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it was like, even in terms of if you just pick a single style, like most all punk guys or emo guys or whatever you want to refer to them, whatever genre you want to dive into, there's like one kind of guy. Like, they have like a signature look that you can like pick out of a crowd and be like, that guy. I've seen like 50 of that guy. Like, they're not as experimentative. And because of that, it happens in video games and most forms of other stuff as well, that they're just not as expressive. Like I said, guys get like 5 haircuts. That's it. If I'm going to play an MMO and I want a character, I want to design that character from the ground up. Okay, and I want to design all kinds of storyline aspects into it. One game that I've played a lot of is ESO. I go to make a guy in ESO, and I start kind of working, and basically, I can make like a really skinny guy, because there is some body sliders and whatnot, or I can make like a kind of buff guy or a really buff guy. And then from there, the options kind of start to fall off pretty hard. Like, there's a lot of different hairstyles, but none of them ever feel like they're character choices. Like none of them feel like background choices, backstory, or something like that. Like, okay, maybe a guy has short hair, and there's like 15 different kinds of short hair. Why does he have short hair? Because he cuts it. It's not necessarily an expression. You get what I'm saying? But like when you play ESO and you're making a girl character and you go down the line of different choices, why is this character strong? Why is this character skinny? Why is this character certain different kinds of things? Like, you put a scar, like, for one, if you like, one thing that I did with one character one time a long time ago in an RP was I purposely did the eye that was like blind and put the scar on the face, and then purposely used the longer hair on one of the things to cover the eye up, and then built an entire backstory over the idea that the eye was lost in a fight, and because that puts a scar on her face and it also damages that eye, there's a little bit of not necessarily like I guess I'll call it shame or something like that. A little bit, there's always like a self-conscious thing going on. So she kind of started doing her hair over the eye that was no longer live, no longer able to see, so that this hair draped over, and it created a style for her, and it kind of got her noticed. Well, at the same time, it took the focus away from the scar and away from the eye. And then there's an entire backstory that, why is she strong? Why is she buff? Why'd I make like a big, more stronger? Because she's never going to have that happen again. She's never going to find herself in a situation where she's less strong or less skilled than the person that she meets. So this is never going to happen again. These are the things that kind of go through my mind. And it would be cool if I could find more games where I could do more stuff with the different characters, but oftentimes that's simply not the way that it is. If you look at something like Masters of the Universe, there's a lot of guy characters in there that would be cool to make. Fisto is this ridiculous guy. He's got the big metal fist and everything like that, and his armor's about ridiculous. He-Man is your cliche barbarian. Skeletor, like this dark, evil, skinnier, but still kind of ripped wizard with all like the skull face, and he's got the cloak, and then it goes down. That's really, really cool. And that look works very well on the guy. And then you move over to like Evelyn and things like that. If I could find something that allowed the creativity for me to make male and female characters with the same ability, that would be different. I would have absolutely no problem being like, I'm going to be a guy character in this one because these are some of the options that I want to be able to do. But most of the time, those options are not available. Oftentimes when I play video games, for some reason, the guys are less appealing than the women. And not in a manner like, oh my God, she's attractive. No, oftentimes they literally have cooler looks than the guys. Even going as far back as like Resident Evil, when I played Resident Evil, Chris is a cop guy. It's a cop guy with a short buzz cut hair, basically. I mean, he's got short hair, he's a cop guy. Jill is way more interesting. She has the beret, those shoulder pad guard things. She wears that blue. It's kind of a high-res color. It pops. She looks kind of cool. She gets more weapons than he does, so she often takes action poses that, like, he simply won't take in his game because she gets things like the grenade launcher and whatnot, which is really cool when you're looking at it. Like, there's a different look. And then the special costumes and everything that come with it, her special costumes are arguably cooler than his special costumes, which is like army pants or some shit like that. Like, who cares? Like, that's why. That's a big reason why, is because the customization and the design aspect that's put into the female characters is almost 100% of the time better or more optionable than any of the guy characters that exist in any game ever. And it does make a difference when you're going to play the next 40 hours on that character. You want options, not limitations.